Primož Roglič put almost 2 minutes into Ben O'Connor yesterday as Mike Wood soared to victory in his maple leaf jersey. The gap at the top of GC is now 1 minute 21, although that is unlikely to change today.
Definitely it's a different stage compared to yesterday, but yeah, I think there will be less action in general, but we are definitely ready to support Primož, and if an opportunity shows up, we will try to grab it.
T-Rex Quick-Step are targeting the top 3 overall with Mikel Landa, but they also have other ambitions.
We would like to get away from this Vuelta with a podium for Mikel for sure, but also a stage win, and yeah, obviously I also have some ambitions there myself, but yeah, for sure from a breakaway is my best chance.
Victor Kampenaerts has been lively this week, and given that Lotto Destiny have lost their leader Lennart van Eertveld, we can expect to see the Belgian or one of his teammates on the attack.
I think today it is not a steep climb, but still is a 22-kilometer climb in the final. I think it's a little bit too hard for me, but we want riders in the break. We will see what we can do.
The sprinters have had pretty slim pickings at this Vuelta, but if they can survive today's long climb, they might finally get a chance to go for victory.
Does it look too hard for sprinters?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm actually not sure. I think it will really depend how the GC guys go on the final climb and if it's control or not, but for sure it looks better than yesterday for sprinters. So I think if I do the best performance of my life on the climb, there is a small chance I could sprint, but yeah, we'll see.
Stage 14 is the longest of this Vuelta at a shade over 200 kilometres. In the final 40k, the riders will tackle the Puerto de Leitariegos. It's long, almost 23 kilometres, but the average gradient is just 4.5%, so a rider like Wout van Aert should be able to get over it. Either way, the GC riders are set to take a back seat.
They're on this wide road, which didn't necessarily make it very easy for a breakaway to go because it was very, very fast. And at the head, it's Visma Lease Bike in those yellow jerseys who are patrolling things in the peloton. Perhaps they feel like Wout van Aert can take another victory today.
There were 6 men in the day's breakaway, including several that we've seen on the attack in recent days. Narvaez, Tejada, Kampenaerts, Frigo and Merisa. They were joined by 20-year-old Isaac Del Toro, who is now the youngest rider in the race. However, they were given very little freedom by the peloton, with the gap never exceeding 2.5 minutes. And that's because Visma Lease Bike clearly had plans for this stage. The Dutch squad keeping the pace high, the average was over 45 kilometres an hour as they looked to control things for Wout van Aert. The leader of the points classification and the mountains classification has looked on superb form at this race, so no surprise to see him targeting a 4th stage win. The Belgian has no shortage of admirers, even within his own team.
It's a really nice guy and really nice to be with him in the team.
What does he want to do today?
Winning. Yeah, that's clear. Like it will still be a really hard stage with a tough climb in the final. But we believe as a team that it's a chance for us. So yeah, we really want to go for it today.
The riders heading into the long descent after the first climb. The breakaways lead was down to under 2 minutes as they approached the intermediate sprint just inside the last 50k. Visma Lease Bike still chasing relentlessly, and the 6 leaders had no doubt realised this probably wouldn't be their day. The Puerto de Leitariegos is far from the hardest climb at this Vuelta, and the pace remained high even as the road began to rise. Kian Uterbroeks now driving the peloton as 3 men dropped from the front group. Kampenaerts, Merisa and Del Toro. They would soon be caught. Narvaez, Frigo and Tejada still plugging away with a lead of around 1 minute as they reach the halfway point of the climb.
Here goes Narvaez, who is leaving Frigo behind with 23.4 kilometres to go, 6.9 kilometres from the top of the climb. The gap's going out to 40 seconds now, and Narvaez wanting to take his opportunity in this Ecuadorian Road Race Champions jersey. He leaves the Italian Frigo behind.
Narvaez didn't resist for long though, and soon it was all back together again. Various teams trying to hit the front before the descent, but Van Aert was still well placed. The Belgian picking up 10 more points towards his polka dot jersey. Just over 16k to go now.
And this is Primož Roglic, who's got a problem. He's got one teammate with him, and this is Dani Martinez. He needs a bike change. The car is there. And Roglic, who is second overall in the general classification on this descent, it looks as though that Roglic has taken the bike of Martinez.
No major panic for Roglic, who returned to the bunch with 10k to go. Having sat quietly in the peloton all day, Alpecin de Koenig then hit the front for their sprinter Caden Groves. Van Aert was now all out of teammates, but DSM-Firmenich Postenel also had men working for Pavel Bittner. And so, rather unexpectedly, it came down to a bunch sprint.
Alpecin de Koenig get into the final left-hand corner in first place. Plancard is doing the lead out for Groves. Wout van Aert is right on the wheel and he's looking for a professional victory, number 50. Bittner is there for Team DSM-Firmenich Postenel, so is Vacek. Corbin Strong is looking to try and deliver a victory. What can the rider from New Zealand do? Strong is coming, but now it's Plancard who's starting to wind it up. He comes to 175 metres to go. It's Groves who hugs the left-hand side of the barriers. It's Groves versus Van Aert. Groves versus Van Aert. Who's going to get the upper hand? Van Aert in the green jersey. It's going to be close on the line. Who's going to be a throw? And it looks as though Caden Groves gets the better of Wout van Aert, and it's Vuelta stage victory number 6 for the Australian.
While Van Aert was busy collecting green and polka dot points in recent days, Groves was just biding his time. The Australian and his team got it spot on today, taking victory despite all that hard work from Visma Lease bike. It's win number 2 for Groves at this race and his 6th at La Vuelta in total.
Didn't actually expect today to be a sprint as it was, but Jumbo controlled it, and to have a man-on-man sprint against Wout is pretty awesome. Today I didn't hesitate, and I think I did a really good sprint, and it felt like quite a bit of a drag race against Wout, but in the end, it was good enough to beat him.
Groves taking his 18th career victory ahead of Van Aert, Strong, Vacek and Mikel. Van Aert has now come second 3 times at this Vuelta, as well as taking 3 wins. The GC favourites all finishing safely in the bunch. As expected, it was a quiet day in the fight for red, with just that minor scare for Roglic in the final, but things are definitely going to be shaken up in tomorrow's 15th stage. Van Aert outdone by Groves today, but he still holds the green jersey by over 100 points, the Australian adding 20 to his tally in second place. Van Aert also extends his lead in the mountains competition to 23 points. He is followed by a trio of UAE riders. And there's no change in white, with Carlos Rodriguez still 17 seconds clear of Florian Lipovitz. The second week concludes tomorrow with a mammoth mountain stage, finishing on the fearsome Cuitu Negru. Don't miss it, join us again on Sunday, and thanks for watching.